This week, I decided to write my Christmas letter to all family and friends and people that know me. Now, you might think of that as odd, but it actually makes perfect sense because I'm so busy during Christmas that I don't have time to do it. And then secondly, a lot of times people send me letters way after a little bit of Christmas, and it's like, oh no, now I have to write another letter. So it kind of eliminates that. And finally, people seem to appreciate it a lot more because during Christmas, everybody's getting these little missiles of saying, you know, I'm doing this and John's doing that and etc. Whereas no one gets that around April. So it's much more well received. And so I did that today, this week. I at least wrote the letter. And no sooner did I write the letter than I said, ugh, it's boring. And I was like, well, okay, I hit the highlights. I hit, okay, I moved, I had a knee problem, and lately my stomach, I have some, whatever, doesn't matter. Anyway, so I thought about what I was writing. You know, I wrote about, the trials and tribulations. I talked about the MRI, getting the doctor, getting the surgery, and all the whole 9 yards. And I asked a friend, why is this so boring? And she said to me, because it sounds like you're dying. All it is kind of like a litany of woe. And you should be looking at what God has blessed you. And so I was like, then I started to look back and realize that I hadn't really been counting the blessings and writing about the blessings in that letter. I hadn't been writing about the blessing of having how many people helped me in my move from Gillespie to here. What a blessing it was to have Father John still around. What a blessing it was to have the house open, like a month ahead of time so I could just gradually move. What a blessing it was to get to meet so many people. I forgot to say when I was having my knee surgery that how many people started a meal train and provided me meals. How I got to be able to have deeper conversations with people that I never would have if it had just been a normal thing. How I was blessed to not have any of my blood clots go to my brain or my heart or having something worse happen to me. I can think of so many different things, and I started writing those down. And the thing is, I initially missed it all. I was too wrapped up in just saying, okay, this is what happened, or this is a negative thing, rather than opening myself up to the risen Christ in my life. And that's what's happening to the two disciples on the road to Emmaus. As it happened while they were conversing and debating, Jesus himself drew near and walked with them, but their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. Why was that? If Jesus wanted to hide himself, he just wouldn't have shown up. So it's not on God's part that their eyes were prevented from recognizing him. It was up to them, that they failed to see the risen Christ because they were too wrapped up in the things that had happened, the passion and death of Jesus. They were too wrapped up in getting on that road to go back to Emmaus. They were too wrapped up in talking about the bad things and not seeing the risen Christ in their midst. It is only after that, if you think about it, they missed the Jesus Christ standing right there in their midst. They missed the presence of Christ when he explains to them the scriptures. It is only when the bread is broken that they finally are able to remove the blinders and see the risen Christ present among them. And too often I think that's my life too. That can I see the risen Christ in the community gathered together? Or there are people that I hold on to grudges against, or I don't want to be a part of this clique, or that person, I don't like them, I better stay away from them, instead of seeing the risen Christ in each and every member of the community. Do I see the risen presence of Christ when the word is proclaimed? Or am I like, oh God, he's not preaching that too well, or he's boring? So I'm mentally making my grocery list while the word is being proclaimed. Do I see the risen Christ in myself, who is ordained through the apostles from Jesus Christ ultimately? Even though I might not be Father John, though you might think I'm too liberal, conservative, or do things differently. And most especially, do you see the risen Christ in the Eucharist, where it is Jesus' body, blood, soul, and divinity? Too often when I say, have you seen the risen Christ? A lot of people say no. What does that mean? And it is like we are on the disciples on the road to Emmaus, where we can see, but our eyes are prevented from recognizing him. Can we, like the disciples, have our eyes open so we can see the risen presence of Christ in our midst, in the community, in the word proclaimed, in the priest, and most especially in the Eucharist? And if we remove those blinders, then indeed we can go forth from this table and proclaim the risen presence of Christ our Lord.